What's up, Dolphin fans? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you to everyone who subscribed after I dropped my Jonas Savaiinaea video. If you have not already, please go back and check that out and get a good grasp of what he will bring to the Miami Dolphins offense. And if you haven't already, go check out my breakdown on defensive tackle, Miami Dolphins first round pick, Kenneth Grant. For those who do not listen to another Dolphins podcast, I do have to apologize for not coming on here and dropping a video. It's been about 3 weeks. During Mental Health Month, I decided to start up my Lexapro at way too high of a dose. Thought I was going to die for a few days, but here I am. I'm back. I'm bringing you a breakdown on 2 of the Miami Dolphins' 5th round draft picks. And I will be honest, I've been working in the shadows, so I should have Ollie Gordon out later this week. Quinn Ewers as well. I'll probably backtrack and do Jason Marshall Jr. and Zeke Biggers. With that said, today we are breaking down the Miami Dolphins' 5th round pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, 143rd overall. Jordan Phillips, defensive tackle from Maryland, 6'1", 312 pounds, has a swim background. As you'll see throughout this tape, he has a little bit of some pass rush tools, can play 1 tech, can play 3 tech, can play 5 tech, is going to be a true asset to this Miami Dolphins defense. And most impressive is he is only 20 years old. This is a guy who can stand up against some of the bigger offensive linemen, can take on 2 blocks, open things up for those guys around him. You can see how him, alongside Kenneth Grant, Zach Sealer, this defensive line unit has been completely revamped this offseason. Excited for the Jordan Phillips pick. Going to break down some of his stats according to Chad Reuter. In 2022, he played for Tennessee. He redshirted, played in only 3 games as a reserve, had 1 tackle. 2023, played in all 13 games for Maryland, 11 starts, 28 tackles, 1.5 tackles for loss. And then last season, started all 12 games, 29 tackles, a tackle for loss. Does not have a sack throughout his entire collegiate career. But again, when you watch this tape, you will see he absolutely has some pass rush ability. He's able to beat some guards with speed, his quickness, swim moves. He has a little bit of a spin move as well. We see him using his straight up power to take on blocks. Like I said, open things up for those guys around him. And honestly, at times he's moving these guys as though they're a blocking sled. So this guy definitely brings excitement. Did not think he was going to be available in the 5th round. Anyone who's done a mock draft simulator, those things are hit or miss. But Jordan Phillips was projected to go in, the 3rd round. He's one of the top-rated defensive tackles, or I guess I should say nose tackle, because that's where he primarily played in college. But you can see why Anthony Weaver, why the Miami Dolphins wanted him, what he can bring to this defense, and again, just how impactful he might be able to be from day one. At the very least, as a depth piece. The other player the Dolphins drafted from Maryland came at pick 19 in the 5th round, 155th overall. The Dolphins got a safety to add to that safety room, which I'm looking on paper here. We're going to talk about the Jalen Ramsey trade as it occurs. We're going to talk about that cornerback unit that I think needs a lot of help. But I also felt like safety was another position where the Dolphins could have maybe drafted someone early. Everyone was talking about Monowari, Malachi Starks. There were some players there that a lot of fans were excited about, but they waited until the 5th round to bring in Dante Trader Jr. And this, like Jordan Phillips, a guy who had a background in swimming and things like that. Dante Trader Jr. was actually recruited as a lacrosse player to Maryland, was one of the best players at midfield. Went to Maryland to play lacrosse, but then ended up playing football, right? So 2021, again, according to Chad Reuter, played in 12 games as a reserve, 16 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, a pass breakup. In 2022, he started all 13 games for Maryland, 62 total tackles, 2 interceptions, 4 pass breakups. 2023, started 12 games, 53 tackles, 2 interceptions, 6 pass breakups. That year, he joined the lacrosse team, played in all 16 games for them, and actually earned 3rd team All-American honors. And then 2024 was an honorable mention, all Big Ten conference safety, started 10 games for Maryland, 59 tackles, an interception, 4 pass breakups, and he missed 2 games due to injury. The biggest thing with Dante Trader Jr. is when you look at him on tape, he is a little bit undersized, 5'10", 196 pounds, but you can see the versatility and why, the Dolphins may have felt the need to bring him in. I know personally, Penn State guy here, or at least live in Pennsylvania, thought maybe they'd go after Jalen Reed, a guy who, when you're watching Penn State's defense, stands out on film, but you can see what Dante Trader Jr. can bring to this defense. He's going to, make an impact on special teams. That's how a lot of these rookies hopefully will become accustomed to, the NFL game. We'll see him playing on special teams, but what excites me most about him is, his versatility. Yes, again, undersized, but he can come down and play in the box. He can make tackles. It's something that, last season, Jordan Poyer, Javon Holland, some of those guys in the secondary, it seemed like they were making business decisions, right? They were not, wrapping up. They were letting players bounce off them, maybe pick up extra yardage, score a touchdown, things like that. Dante Trader Jr. lays the wood whenever he comes down and makes a tackle in his defenders. Can play a little bit in the slot, which is the versatility I'm talking about. Can also come down in the box, and then can play safety. So adding him to that safety unit that, again, Ashton Davis, Ife Melifonwu, Patrick McMorris, who I joke, when the Dolphins drafted him, there was not even a bio on the website for Patrick McMorris. Elijah Campbell, another player who is more of a special teams guy, but who knows? The cream is going to rise to the top. I don't know that Dante Trader Jr. is that needle mover, but again, when you're watching the tape, you can definitely see the tools that are there and the willingness, right? It all comes down to these guys and how they're going to translate to the NFL game, how they're going to be able to be coached. We've seen fifth-round draft picks flourish, especially in Miami in the past. So, out of these two guys, if I had to pick one, obviously it's going to be Jordan Phillips, right? 20 years old, a guy who admits, I'm a man. I'm a grown-ass man. I can play all over the defensive line, and that's what's intriguing because you have a defensive line unit that needed completely revamped this offseason. We talked about losing Calais Campbell. We talked about how bad, the Dolphins missed Christian Wilkins, even if he was banged up. Bringing in Kenneth Grant, bringing in Jordan Phillips, Zeke Biggers, as we'll talk about later on. I mean, that defensive line unit looks much different. They picked Matthew Butler up off of from the Las Vegas Raiders, but Jordan Phillips excites me because he is so young, 20 years old, has the strength to just be that big body in the middle, can help in the run game. Again, you can see him doing things in the pass game as well, rushing the passer, no sacks, but I feel like him alongside Zach Steeler, alongside Kenneth Grant, with this coaching staff, could really take that next step. And I know every few years the Dolphins seem to draft a Jordan Phillips, but for me, this guy, I remember when the Dolphins drafted Jordan Phillips, there was some excitement there, but I have much more excitement now for this Maryland Jordan Phillips. I don't know if it's his awesome helmet that he wears, the dreads coming out the back. I don't know what it is, but he seems like he is going to be a baller, a guy who, could be a household name in a few years. I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself, but I really do like his game. Throughout this tape, hopefully you've seen what he can do. I went back and watched, I believe, 5 games. Let me pull up which ones I watched here. It looks like Indiana at Maryland. I looked up Maryland versus Minnesota, Rutgers versus Maryland, USC versus Maryland, Virginia versus Maryland, and then as you'll see now, you see what Dante Trader Jr. was doing at the Senior Bowl. Throughout the week, you see him lining up, taking on wide receivers, tight ends. He can be a little bit handsy at times, but I think, seeing what he can do there on an island, probably brought some of that intrigue to the Dolphins, and being able to have a safety that can come down and do that stuff. We all love talking about Javon Holland's versatility. Not sure we ever truly saw it stand out as much as we had hoped. In no world is Dante Trader Jr. coming in to fill that void, but just to have another guy that can do so many different things, a guy who's going to battle, a guy who can, again, come down and play nickel a little bit, can roam around if needed. It can just be that extra asset for this Miami Dolphins defense. I do really like that pick as well. So hopefully you enjoyed this tape. I know that it's a long-winded rant. I can go through and break down each play like I mentioned before, but this is more of a podcast just behind the breakdown that I did. I want you guys to make your own opinion on all of these videos, right? It's not up to me to tell you that Kenneth Grant's going to be awesome. It's not up to me to tell you that I like Dante Trader Jr. or Jordan Phillips. It's up to you to take, what I'm putting out in front of you. I try to go through and break down as many games as I can, try to get as many good and bad plays. I think I had one in here where Dante Trader got beat bad on a double move. That stuff happens, right? Unless you're Cam Smith, and a double move is going to put you on the bench, and Vic Fangio is going to throw you on the bench for weeks. That's not going to make or break what type of player you are in the NFL. So, 2 defenders here in the 5th round. They also drafted Jason Marshall Jr. In between at 150, which I will break down Jason Marshall Jr. and most likely Zeke Biggers later down the road. I still have Ollie Gordon, like I mentioned, will be coming out. Hopefully Wednesday I'll have Ollie Gordon up, and then we'll go with Quinn Ewers because a lot of people doing fantasy drafts, whether it's dynasty, rookie, things like that. You're trying to get a good grasp on what these guys can bring to the table. But overall, I hope you enjoyed these videos. I hope you're learning something from it. This is just me trying to give you as much information as I can about this Dolphins rookie class. Again, apologies for not having this out sooner. This video has been waiting on deck for about 2-3 weeks now, so finally getting it out. If you like what you're listening to, please, again, hit the bell, subscribe to the channel, follow along on Blue Sky, Instagram. I don't really use Twitter anymore because I cannot see why anybody would even continue to go on that website, but I do understand because you need to get your fix, you need to get your Dolphins news and notes and things like that, which, speaking of which, I want to come on here and absolutely annihilate that horrendous AI-infested schedule release video that the Dolphins dropped. Probably going to download that, slow it down so we can go through, break down the schedule, but most importantly, just break down how god-awful that thing was for a billion-dollar company to put out a white Tua Tagovailoa, to have some of those it looked clearly AI to me. So do better, Miami Dolphins. There's 32 NFL teams out there. Yours ranked damn near towards the bottom, and I do want to get into that later down the road. So as always, thank you guys so much for supporting the channel. Thank you so much for following along. I hope you enjoyed this breakdown of Dante Trader Jr., Jordan Phillips. Let me know in the comments section which of these two guys you're most excited for, which you think will have the biggest impact in 2025. And most importantly, let me know what I can do better, what you liked, what you disliked. And I'll be back later in the week. Like I mentioned, Ollie Gordon, Quinn Ewers, they are coming later this week. Keep your eyes peeled on the channel. But until then, thank you so much for listening. We're going to call this the Take It to the Houts podcast. I'm Josh Houts. And as always, most importantly, fins up.